What would you do right now if I gave you $100,000 and you had to spend it in the next 24 hours?
I can only pick one? Or I could.
What would you do with the money?
I could chop it up. Okay.
If I handed you 100 grand.
Yeah.
It has to be gone in 24 hours or it pay prices.
Yep. One, it would not go into a single stock because that's too much risk. So we're talking about equities market. I would chop it up. I would have a percentage of it that would probably go into digital real estate. I would have another portion of it that would go into funds. Probably the largest portion of it I would put into a fund. There are funds out there that sometimes you have to be a credit investor, but a lot of times you don't have to be a credit investor. You can put money into, and they have what's called a fixed rate of return. That's their SEC compliant way of saying guaranteed, but it's a fixed rate of return. And this is things that have been performing for 70 plus years. We had one last year that was 43% annualized return. Yeah, which means your money doubles every 22 months. And this is a fixed rate of return. And it was semi-passive. And there are similar funds out there now that you could do that. But when I say semi-liquid, I did say semi-passive, but I meant semi-liquid, is every quarter you have the ability to take all of your money out, or just the interest earned out, or some of the interest and some of the principal out. So you could manage it, or you could roll it, which is what we did. Which is say, look, we're earning 43%, just roll it, because it compounds. So funds would be one, digital real estate would be one. I would also look at replace your dollar, because with what Ross is teaching with corporate insider trading, 7-year track record, or at least the last 7 years, the lowest return was 29%. The highest was over 300 and something percent for the year annualized return. Those are pretty good returns. And it's just following what these corporate CEOs are doing with buying back their own options. And the CEO makes $500,000 a year, but yet put $500,000 in buying back their own shares. That's a bit of an anomaly. What did the CMO do? What did the CFO do? Oh, they did the same thing. Have they ever done that before? No. Okay, something's up. Maybe they know that corporate earnings are going to be released that are good and positive. Boom, stock goes up, swing trade. So I would chop it up. I would also, 100,000, especially in today's day and age, is not a lot of money. But I would even do something extremely low risk, which is real estate. I would probably find somebody that needs a little bit of capital for a down payment for a real estate deal and do hard money for the rest of it. I would probably charge 12% and 2 points. So 12% interest and 2 points to borrow my money for a short period of time to either flip or buy a rental with the remaining portion. So I would diversify it. Put all your eggs in one basket, probably not a good idea.
Yeah. You mentioned funds, digital real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you find the best opportunities to do that, and how can somebody easily step into that?
Find the communities. We now are in a position where people have identified that we have an audience, so we are attracting those opportunities to us. That has not always been the case. That has only been the case over the last 3 or 4 years as our audience grows. So now those opportunities are finding us. But if you don't have an audience and you don't have a Rolodex, then find a community that has that Rolodex. So we have a Rolodex of who tax strategists are, people who set up proper trusts, people who know how to design properly placed insurance policies for not just death benefits, but also living benefits. So over time, you build this Rolodex. So find that community of people that are doing what you want to do and just plug into it. I would recommend ours. But there's lots of them out there, if I'm being completely unbiased. There's lots of communities out there. For one, I'm a part of Capital Club. Capital Club, every single week, there's an opportunity to deploy capital or people that are looking for capital for their opportunity. That's a really cool curated group where it's like people that are looking for capital and people that have capital. People that are looking for capital, they have to come up with a really good opportunity or people aren't going to let go of this capital, right? Investors are not stupid. They're going to look at financials, they're going to look at data, they're going to look at trends before they start placing their money. So all these people that have opportunities are putting together really designed pitch decks and say, this is what a pretty low risk annualized return is going to look like. And the people with capital are like, cool, I'll do that. So, there's lots of communities out there. It's, and a lot of it, it costs money, and it should, because if it doesn't cost money, there's lots of Facebook groups out there that you just join and it's absolutely free. Guess how many times I check in on those communities? None. But Capital Club costs me 15 grand a year. I'm in there every week. I'm checking it out, watching the recordings. Sometimes I attend the events and watch them, like today when my buddy's Matt, he's a cash flow architect, so he's talking about cash flow and insurance policies and all that. Didn't have time to watch it, but I'm gonna watch it later on this weekend. So yeah, find those communities, find mentors, find coaches. That is your fast track to success. It's far faster than reading a book or YouTube University.
What's your community? How do I join it?
Yeah, our community. So we've got a free community, which again, it's free. So you get what you pay for. It's Replace Your University. But depending on the vertical that you want to entertain, if it's Replace Your Mortgage, where it's talking about real estate finance, well, then it's Replace Your Mortgage community. So we pull all these people into a community. Sometimes it's Facebook groups. We're going to get off of Facebook and onto our own private network and app that people can use. But you're in there with thousands of people that think like you, maybe in the same process that you are, or they're several years ahead of where you are, and you just ask questions. And not only do you have me answering it, and Matt answering it, and Derek answering it, or Edmund answering it, now you've got thousands of other people that have already walked in the footsteps that you're trying to walk in, saying, this is what I did, here's how it worked out for me.